Welcome, my dear soul, to Lull and Lore, a quiet corner of the universe where stories shimmer like constellations, and every word is a thread gently pulling you into stillness. The sky is deep tonight, a velvet sea stitched with stars, each one twinkling like a memory too soft to hold. The moon hangs low, watching gently over the world, as if it knows it's time to rest now, time to dream. Here, the noise of the day fades, the worries hush, and in their place, a hush falls over your spirit. A calm descends, like the stardust on your thoughts. I am so glad you've joined me. This space was made just for you, to be seen, to be soothed, and to be slowly carried into sleep through the magic of story. So close your eyes if you wish, or just listen. Let the breath of the night hold you. Let your heartbeat sync with the rhythm of peace. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to do anything. Just let go. Be here. Be in the moment. And allow the story to wrap around you like a warm hug through a moonlight garden. The tale begins now. Part 3. The Queen and the Quiet Revolution. As the embers of war cooled and the betrayers were cast out, Queen Elira turned her gaze not to glory, but to grounding. Her goal was never expansion, but evolution, and now, with peace hard won, the most radical phase of her reign began. Not in bloodshed, but in books, gardens, and voices, and in the undoing of the ancient chains. The new scrolls. The first step in her quiet revolution was rewriting the scrolls of instruction. Ancient laws, penned centuries ago when women were considered property, when art was less valued than coin, and when questions were seen as dangers. She gathered philosophers, farmers, herbalists, carpenters, scribes, and even traveling performers, and each asked one question: if you could rebuild this land from scratch, what would you keep? What would you cast into the sea? Over 2 winters, the scroll of renewal was born. They decreed education would be a right, not a privilege. Craft and caregiving would be honored equal to governance. Leadership positions would rotate with citizens able to vote by voice and mark. No person of any gender, lineage, or belief could be owned, bought, or silenced. Marriage was a contract of companionship, not control, and optional for all. There was an uproar, of course. Some nobles fled, some citizens were fearful. But Elira simply said, fear is what powers uses to breed loyalty. But love, true, whole love, just asks for freedom, not obedience. The Circle Court. Traditionally, a throne sat above all. But now, Elira has replaced her court's structure with a circle, literally, a large round table beneath a skylight in the palace garden, where she sat among her people once every new moon. At this court, the citizens brought dreams and dilemmas. There were no guards, no petitions scrawled by scribes, just stories shared aloud. One day, a washerwoman asked for time to learn medicine. Another, a baker, confessed he was once a thief and asked how to make amends. Elira listened not to punish or praise, but to weave every thread into Stillwater's broader fabric. A school among the trees. Cael, now deeply rooted in Stillwater's people, transformed the old war towers into the school of soft knowing, a place where children and adults learned in circles among tree canopies and streams. There were no bells and no punishments. Lessons were simple, of course. They taught how to listen, how to grow food, how to speak one's truth and tend to wounds. And the most important of all was question even the stars. One child, when asked what a ruler should be, replied, "Someone who doesn't forget what it feels like to be small." And that was what Elira was giving their kingdom. Elira often visited the garden barefoot. She taught storytelling there to the kids. They all loved her. The prince who walked away. In the previous part, we know that there was a king who wanted to merge bloodlines with Stillwater, where he had told that he would offer 50 ships and a diamond lake for Elira's hand in marriage. In a gesture few understood, Elira sent a letter to the prince. He was Therin of East Ilaran, who had once offered to marry her for alliance. And she wrote a letter to him which read, "You once offered me 50 ships for my hand in marriage. But would you offer your people the same wealth for their future? If not, then we are not companions. If yes, then come, not with a ring, but with a question. How do we build a world where no one kneels?" Theron came not to court her, but to learn. He stayed months, sleeping in Weaver's house and studying Stillwater's model. When he left, he bowed down, not to the throne, but to her courage, which took to build this model Stillwater kingdom. Then came the Fire Festival. Each year, on the night Braylin once was invaded, Stillwater held the festival of ash and bloom. It was not to celebrate war, but resilience. People wore black in the morning and white by dusk, symbolizing grief and growth. At the festival's heart burned a fire, into which citizens cast symbols of what no longer served them, things like prejudices, old fears, and shame. Then they danced around the circle. Sometimes even Elira would join, even in her aging years. She joined the circle barefoot, face painted with ash and pollen flower. Elira, even in her aging years, joined the final circle barefoot, face painted with ash and flower pollen. Cael watched from the edge, smiling. "They don't remember how close this land came to ruin," a visiting scholar once said. For which Cael answered, "They don't need to. They remember how close it came to healing, and that is enough." The companion's letter. One quiet spring, Cael grew ill. He never sought sympathy and never feared the end. He left a letter by Elira's writing desk, sealed with a leaf of stillroot. which said, "My queen, you never needed a prince, and I never wish to be one either. You let me be a healer, a listener, and a witness to your becoming. That was enough. I go, not as a shadow behind you, but as a seed in the ground beneath. Keep walking softly. The world is listening." He passed with her hand in his. The queen grows old. Years passed. Alira's hair grayed. Her voice softened with age, but never lost clarity. She refused to build statues or name monuments after herself. When asked how she wished to be remembered, she said, "As someone who left behind room for others to build, speak, and bloom." When her advisors suggested recording her biography, she replied, "Right of the kingdom, not the crown. The kingdom remembers better." And when the time came, as she lay in her chamber overlooking the gardens, she requested no parade, no burial mound. She asked to be returned to the roots of the oldest tree in Stillwater, where the school of soft knowing still whispered with children's voices. And so the tale finds its quiet end, like a candle gently dimming in a room that now glows with peace. Thank you, dear dreamer, for sharing this moment beneath the stars with me. May sleep cradle you softly, may your dreams be kind, and may you always find your way back to Lull and Lore. Until next time, rest well. Good night, dear dreamer.